Hi, I'm Bianca, and this is Flora and Fate, where I take you along to discover cozy, charming towns, scenic escapes, and quiet moments in New England and beyond. The end of winter in coastal Maine feels like a slow awakening. The snow is still melting in patches beneath the trees, and the forest floor is damp and dark, where winter has just only begun to loosen its grip. It's the kind of place where every step feels softer, quieter, and just beyond the trees, sitting on a hill above the Atlantic, is a place that once waited for war, Fort Baldwin. Today it feels peaceful, almost forgotten, but a little over a century ago, this quiet hillside was part of a much larger defense system built to protect the American coast. Construction on the fort began in the early 1900s, during a time when the United States was building hidden artillery positions along important waterways. From this hill, soldiers could watch the entrance to the Kennebec River, a strategic route leading inland toward shipyards and towns like Bath. If enemy ships ever tried to enter the river, Fort Baldwin would have been the first place ready to respond. But walking here today, you might miss it entirely. The fort was designed to disappear into the landscape. Instead of towering walls or dramatic battlements, the batteries were built low to the ground, thick concrete structures covered by earth and grass. Nature was meant to hide them, and over time, nature has done exactly that. As you follow the trail upwards, the shapes of old gun batteries slowly emerge through the trees. Moss creeps along the concrete walls. Ferns grow from cracks where water has slowly worked its way inside. The rooms that once stored ammunition now sit open and silent. 3 main artillery batteries once stood here, each one holding a large coastal defense gun capable of firing missiles out across the ocean. Some of these guns use something called a disappearing carriage. When fired, the cannon would rise above the wall just enough to launch its shell and then drop back down behind its protective concrete below. It was a clever design, but also a reminder of how seriously the threat of naval attack was taken at the time. During the First World War, soldiers were stationed here and at nearby defenses along the coast, watching the horizon day after day, waiting, training, preparing. But the attack they were preparing for never came. Fort Baldwin never fired a single shot in combat. By the early 1920s, the original guns were removed, the fort was gradually abandoned, and for a while, the hill returned to quiet. But history has a habit of circling back. During the Second World War, the military returned to this area once again. Large mobile artillery pieces were installed nearby, along with observation towers used to scan the Atlantic for enemy ships. From those towers, observers would radio coordinates to a larger gun installation nearby. Once again, soldiers waited here, watching the sea, and once again, guns were never needed. Eventually, the military left for good. The concrete batteries remained behind, and the forest slowly moved back in. But the story of this hill actually goes back even further than the fort itself. Long before these concrete structures were built, another fort stood nearby. In 1607, English settlers from the short-lived Popham colony constructed a small fortification here known as Fort St. George. It was one of the earliest English settlements in North America. The colony lasted barely a year before the harsh winters forced the settlers to return to England. But the hill remained, watching the ocean, waiting for the next chapter. And over the centuries, that chapter arrived more than once. Colonists, soldiers, engineers, all standing in the same place, looking across the same stretch of water. Today, the only people climbing this hill are hikers, photographers, and curious travelers wandering quiet trails in between trees. Standing at the top of the hill, the Kennebec River opens wide as it meets the sea. The wind here carries the scent of salt, waves move across the bay nearby, and the old fort, now covered in moss and thyme, continues to watch the horizon, just like it always has. If you like this adventure and would like to join me on more in the New England area, please like and subscribe. And until next time, stay curious and stay wild.